हमें यूक्रेन से ज्वाइन कर रही है कीव पोस्ट की रिपोर्टर ओलेना हराजदान. Olena, thank you very much for joining us. Olena, what is the sentiment in the government, army and political class after yesterday's unusual spat between President Donald Trump and President Zelensky?
The mood that dominates Ukraine's political class and the military coincides with what Zelensky said in the White House and in his interview to the Fox News, is that Ukraine needs to find a sustainable, stable peace. And this is what Ukraine is aiming at. This is not a ceasefire agreement that can be signed yesterday, but will never be a guarantee of a third invasion. Rather than that, Ukraine is looking for a solution that will create circumstances where Russia will not want to attack again, to invade again, and to cause the terror it has caused before. Ukraine also learned lessons after 2014 when ceasefire agreements were also signed and Russia has also breached them. And this is what the military is also fighting for. The military is fighting for a stable peace, just as the political class. And this is why Zelensky was pushing on his position. And the problem is that the US President Donald Trump chose an easier strategy. He chose a strategy of bending Ukraine to an easier peace and to giving up their position, and instead sign any kind of ceasefire that might not work in a week. And this was his problem, and when Zelensky started opposing it, both he and Vance became furious.
So, Olena, what is the way forward now? Will Ukraine settle with US proposal that is ceasefire, or do you think Ukraine will continue to fight without US support?
I'm not a diplomat, but things can go in different scenarios. On one hand, Pentagon has already slashed programs where the US were aiding Ukraine to win in cybersecurity operations, for example. And Trump definitely sends a signal that we will block any aid that we gave you because you don't want to reach a compromise that we provided. The US may really slash all aid, and that might mean that Europe can be the key player and it can really become more united than it has been before in order to help Ukraine win the war against Russia. And but the thing is that perhaps Europe's resources will not be enough to compete with, let's say, the resources the United States provided. One way or another, for Ukraine, basically nothing changes. Ukrainian military will fight as long as it gets, and as well as Ukraine's central bank is also ready to sustain Ukraine's economy as long as it gets, and they don't see some magic trick in ceasefire agreement that it will create. No, Ukraine's economy should be sustainable no matter what happens. And Europe has already shown an incredible amount of support to Ukraine, and I suppose that these negative events that were unfolding in the White House, they acted as a crisis trigger for Europe to finally find more strength and more leadership to lead the process of winning war against evil.